Well, I guess I'm plagued. I come across too vague. I'm not seen. There was an acting audition that I could have done online, but I didn't think I had time to get something together, especially as I had a gig that night. I had to make sure I had everything ready in time so that I could leave early for the gig. This and also getting my audition piece together didn't seem possible. I didn't have time to work on and record something new. I then thought of a video of me there was from a few years ago doing some acting. I had to download software so I could download this video from where it was online, which was a bit of a nightmare. There were lots of times when I thought I would have to give up. And this video had actually been saved in 2 clips, so I had to put them together as one video. Not only did I have to do this, but I also had to get an acting CV together. I had to research online to see what an acting CV should have on it. It took a lot of searching through old emails to get stuff together, but I got everything together in time. I was glad that I did manage to do this acting audition. I sometimes feel I let opportunities slip past me because I think I'll get rejected based on past experiences of being rejected. And I often don't think I can bring myself to go through the whole process of applying for things. I think it will be too much for me. Even if I wasn't successful, I was glad that I managed to apply. As well as doing all this, I had to make sure I was ready for the gig. This was going to be my first solo performance where I would use a pedal to change what sound my guitar had throughout the gig. So this gig was going to take a bit more preparation than most of my gigs would. There were problems on the first of the 2 trains I was on the way to this gig. I ended up changing my journey. I was glad that I had got good at suddenly changing my route in the middle of a journey. When I was walking to the venue from the train station, I was finding it hard to find using my sat-nav, which was telling me the wrong things. This was even though I'd been to this venue before. The last time I went there by public transport was more than 2 years ago. I had to work on ways to get around issues with my sat-nav. By doing this, I was able to get there. At the venue, for when we were going to sound check, I wasn't able to fit in or hang out with anyone. I was just walking around by myself. I also found it really difficult when another act was playing stuff from her phone. Feeling really overwhelmed, not able to deal with this, not able to tell her, "Can you stop doing that, please?" With using a guitar pedal in my set, this was something I'd been considering for a while. I was glad that I was finally taking this step in further developing my sound. I was glad that I was received well in soundcheck by the sound engineer and by another act who saw me soundcheck, as well as my friend who came to watch me at the gig. My friend also played stuff from her phone. It was really hard to deal with it, how common this is now. Everyone seems to do it. The lights at the venue were too bright and were hurting my eyes. It reminded me of how I have to go through sensory pain in the situations I have to be in to do gigs. Most venues don't seem to think of disabled people at all. With all the lighting issues, it was appropriate I performed my song Headlights Hurt My Eyes. After seeing my performance, my friend asked if I wanted to go to this jam night with her that we sometimes went to. I thought that I should actually stay at the gig and watch the other acts as they watched my performance. I later regretted staying, as I did not have a good time at this gig. While he wasn't performing, one of the acts was kissing his girlfriend a lot. It makes me feel uncomfortable when couples are kissing in front of me. And I also remembered hearing how it can show insecurity, having to show everyone that this person is with you, that you can kiss them, etc. I don't like being put on first at gigs, which nearly always happens to me. People often put solo acts on first at gigs and put bands on later. Though at this gig, we were all solo artists, and I was still put on first. I didn't know why this was, why it always happened to me. Did people think they could get away with putting me on first? Like I was easy to push around? Did people think not as many people would appreciate my music, so they should put me on first when there won't be as much of an audience there? Could people tell I won't be able to bring many people there, so because of that, I'll be put on first? I actually felt bad and surprised that the third act had less of an audience than me. I had performed to the other acts and a few other people. This guy was performing to hardly anyone. Watching other acts perform, the brightness of the lights from the stage was really getting to me. I didn't feel I could ask people to turn the lights down. I could now relate to comments my friend made earlier. She had said how staff did not listen when she said about how the venue was too cold. I felt the acts who were on after me were less experienced than me. I felt they were less professional. There were some things like them not knowing how close to get to a microphone, not knowing when to unplug and plug in their guitars. It made me question why they were put on after me. It also made me feel how I may have wasted my career, as I often feel I have. When I get gigs, I often feel the ones I'm performing at are beginner level, which is reflected by how the other acts tend to always be beginners, such as the person headlining, who'd only been playing guitar for about a year. This wasn't the first time I'd been playing at gigs where other performers had only been playing for a year or two. It made me feel how I should have moved up to bigger and better things in my career, such as bigger, more higher profile gigs, more recognition, etc. I feel I should have been playing the type of gigs I'm playing now years ago when I was a beginner, and that people of my experience level have already moved on to much bigger and better things. The acts I'm performing alongside are also usually much younger than me. It makes me concerned about how many years of my career I have wasted and how I ever will move on if I'm still playing these beginner level gigs. I felt like I should leave because of the pain my eyes were in from the lights at the venue, but I felt like I should stay and watch the last act, as he had told me my stuff was really good. I was wondering if I should just go. I was by myself, not having a good time, when maybe I could be somewhere else with friends or family having a good time. I noticed none of the acts really had audiences much bigger than mine. The person who headlined had no bigger an audience than I did. Late into the performance of the headlining act, I wondered, should I just go and not put off my journey home? I didn't want to be there, but I felt a loyalty to the guy who was performing. I was trying to be supportive, but I just felt bored. And I could see the sound person seemed pretty bored. He was texting on his phone. When I finally did leave, I felt I did know the route to the train station, but I wasn't sure. I was glad I was able to work out where the train station was from what was around me, and I managed to get the train going in the right direction. In the background.